robbed and injured.
JSO continues to investigate near that white Dodge Charger where officers say a man was shot. Why this shooting is not related to another one on the west side. Straight ahead on Action News.
A motorcyclist dead.
I'm Jesse McDonough ahead at 7. A man is dead after he crashed his motorcycle here on Touchton Road. Why police say this road is so dangerous.
A young boy shot while playing with his friends.
Stop playing with guns, put them up, get rid of them.
Only on Action News, who the family is blaming for this violence.
And steamy start. The major battle the Miami Heat had to face besides the San Antonio Spurs in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. 23 minutes of nonstop news, weather, and traffic is just ahead.
Action News This Morning starts right now.
Live coverage you can count on. Fox 30 Action News at 7 begins with breaking news.
All right, good morning to you. I'm Mike Barrs.
And I'm Lindsay Gardner. Thanks for being with us here on this Friday morning. We'll get to those breaking stories in just a moment. But first, let's begin with your weather and traffic on the ones. Fox 30 meteorologist Ariel Nixon is tracking a chance of thunderstorms in the forecast for the first full weekend of June.
We are going to see some thunderstorms not only today, but you're right, Lindsay, continuing all the way through the weekend. Right now, we're starting off with dry conditions in our area, but we are tracking just a few isolated sprinkles through Glenn County and heavier rain off towards our north near Savannah. That's all pushing off the coast, but we are going to see more storms developing this afternoon. We're at 70 degrees on the west side. We have 71 degrees at the airport to start your day. Otherwise, mid-70s across Duval County, and we are only going to heat up as we go into the afternoon. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast for today. By 9 o'clock, already jumping into the lower 80s. By noon, we'll be at 90 degrees. We're going to start to see our clouds building by then, and then between 1 and 3 o'clock, thunderstorms develop. They'll develop right along I-95 and then push inland and continue into the early evening. By 5 o'clock, we're cooling off into the lower 90s. And these storms are going to produce some heavy rain. I'll track them for you hour by hour, show you what you can expect through the afternoon and overnight, where we'll see more storms. That's coming up in the full First Alert forecast. 7:02 now. Let's get a check on your First Alert traffic.
We're already starting to see some heavy traffic eastbound on I-10 from Cassett Avenue in toward Roosevelt. Also starting to slow down southbound on the West Beltway from Old St. Augustine Road into I-95. Got heavy traffic also on the westbound Arlington Expressway from the Matthews Bridge into downtown. They've reopened Touchton Road at the site of the overnight serious crash investigation between Gate Parkway and Belford Road. I'm Daisy Ash from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center.
All right, we're staying on top of two breaking news stories right now on Jacksonville's west side. We begin with Action News' Russell Colburn. He's live on Buttercup Street, where Jacksonville police investigating a robbery where someone was hurt. And Russell, we just learned in the last 30 minutes that robbery victim was shot.
That's right, Mike. We're learning that this robbery victim was robbed and shot and is recovering this morning. It happened at that white Dodge Charger here. You can see multiple officers with JSO investigating at the scene and evidence technicians going over things. The gun remains in the street here at that evidence marker number 1, and JSO has confirmed that is connected to this crime. JSO says it happened around 3:50 this morning. Officers could not tell us how many times the victim was shot and where he was shot, but did say the injuries are not life-threatening. We've also learned the victim and suspect know each other. The victim did not live at the house where the car is parked. A neighbor told me he heard as many as 6 gunshots this morning. He says the victim goes by OD. JSO would not release his identity, and JSO is also saying this is not related to the other shooting just a few blocks down the road, calling this an isolated incident. We're live on the west side. Russell Colburn, Fox 30 Action News.
Our other breaking story overnight, less than a mile away, 2 people were shot around 2:30 this morning near 103rd Street. Our breaking news team coverage continues with our Don Lopez. And Don, one of the victims says this shooting stemmed from an earlier fight.
That's right, Lindsay. 2 people were shot at the Jacksonville Heights apartments, and the man who shot them is still on the run at this hour. Michael Young was shot in the chest. He tells Action News this all started with a fight at a nearby store. Now, he says that he and his cousin were there with the alleged suspect, who could only be identified to us as AJ, who goes by the nickname Smoke. Young says that his cousin told AJ to leave the complex, but when he came back, that's when the violence started.
Then it ended being an altercation, and then from an altercation to him coming back shooting or whatnot, and he shot me and my cousin.
And right now, police are looking for that man who goes by the name of AJ or Smoke. You're asked to contact police right away if you've seen him or if you know who he is. Mike and Lynn's.
All right, more breaking news, this time on Jacksonville's South Side. Investigators with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office working on a deadly crash on Touchton Road near Southside Boulevard.
Action News' Jesse McDonough has been live on that scene since we hit the air at 4:30 this morning. And Jesse, we've learned within the last 40 minutes that Touchton Road is back open here this morning.
Yeah, Lindsay, police took down the crime scene tape here about 45 minutes ago. And as you can see, the road has been reopened. Now, that crash was just over my right shoulder near that roundabout there. Police, JSO Traffic Homicide has not released yet what the cause of that crash is. However, neighbors I talked to say that this road has been widened, and a lot of people don't know that, and they don't know that this roundabout is here, and they often speed on this road. Neighbors we talked to say there were a lot of crashes on here, so if you do drive on Touchton Road near the Publix in the 8500 block, you're going to want to slow down. Reporting live on the South Side, Jesse McDonough, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News.
7:05, there was another motorcycle crash just hours before. Florida Highway Patrol troopers tell us they were on the scene of that crash at 1 o'clock this morning on I-295 at Blanding Boulevard. Lanes were blocked for quite a while there, but troopers tell us they have since reopened. This is the second motorcycle crash this morning.
Only Action News speaking with the family of a 12-year-old boy who was shot in the leg near his home in northwest Jacksonville. Police still searching for that shooter, and doctors say Odell Jones will have to get used to living with a bullet lodged in his leg after being shot on Prospect Street West. That was on Thursday around 2:30 p.m. Jones's mother tells us her son was on the family's front porch with friends when someone pulled out a gun.
Those friends was on the side of the house, and they told him to get from in the back, and he said, "No, this is my yard." He said he looked at the boy pulled a gun out. Next thing you know, he was hit.
Jackson tells us all the children in the yard with her son were minors. Doctors say they didn't want to take out the bullet for fear of causing further damage. Investigators say they're working to find out if the shooting was an accident or not.
New this morning, North Korea says it is detaining an American tourist for an unspecified crime. Officials say the American man, identified as Miller Matthew Todd, is being investigated for allegedly doing acts inconsistent with a tourist visit. This makes the third American currently being held in North Korea.
7:07 right now. Lawmakers in Congress are moving forward with a bipartisan bill in response to the Veterans Affairs scandal. Delayed care is being blamed for at least 23 deaths nationwide, 2 in our area. The proposal will allow some veterans to see civilian doctors using government funds. Florida Senator Marco Rubio told us that the government must fix this problem.
We need to give veterans choices. If you're a veteran and you can't get into the VA hospital in a timely fashion, you should be allowed to go to any other hospital, including a private hospital or a not-for-profit hospital, who is willing to see you.
Here in Florida, Governor Rick Scott is suing the government over the scandal. He wants state officials to be allowed inside the federally run hospitals to inspect them. The lawsuit comes as federal officials plan to release new nationwide data about VA patient wait times on Monday.
Families in Arlington who want answers on the gruesome murder of their neighbor now wonder if that man's roommate knows what happened. However, they tell us the man disappeared hours before Joe Williams' body was found decapitated. Now, we're not identifying the roommate by name because we do not know if he is a suspect, but we did confirm he is a sex offender who failed to register with authorities twice. We asked Jacksonville police if they've questioned him. They refused to comment.
We now know a missing Coast Guardsman who was found dead in New Smyrna Beach was part of a child abuse investigation. The body of Officer Johnny Walton was discovered on Wednesday. And on Thursday, investigators said he had shot himself. Action News reached out to child welfare officials. They confirmed that he was a part of an investigation, but did not want to tell us what Walton was accused of doing.
Right now, police are searching for 2 men who crashed this stolen black SUV and then ran away. Troopers say the SUV hit a white car on Southside Boulevard near Nimitz Court, then crossed the median, hit a light pole, flipped over. All of this happening on 8:30 Thursday night. Jacksonville police say that SUV was stolen on Monday.
The city of Jacksonville says it made a deal to keep water taxi service running this weekend and beyond. That includes the purchase of 2 boats for more than $300,000. The company, Harbor Care, announced it was shutting down its water taxi operations. The city has since been scrambling to come up with a plan.
We don't want to disappoint people, and of course, neither do we want to do a bad deal.
Money can be used elsewhere.
All right, here's the deal. Harbor Care stops running tonight. The city's boats will start up in the morning. In the meantime, officials will continue to look out for a company to try to take over that water taxi service.
It's 7:09, and a new report shows you could be paying the price for the way Jacksonville area companies and even some Fortune 500 companies operate. It's because they are allegedly stashing money in offshore tax havens. Taxpayer watchdogs say Fidelity National Information Services stores profits overseas to help them avoid paying taxes here in the U.S. It's perfectly legal due to loopholes in the tax code. The U.S. Public Interest Research Group says Fortune 500 companies nationwide avoid paying $90 billion in taxes every year.
For the average person, that means paying higher taxes, facing cuts to public programs, or just seeing a higher deficit.
Apple is the Fortune 500 company with the most money stored in offshore tax havens at a whopping $111 billion. Even Apple says it wants Congress to reform the tax code. But so far, bills to close loopholes are going nowhere on Capitol Hill.
Now, your weather and traffic on the ones.
Good morning, everyone. It's an absolutely gorgeous start to the day here from Jacksonville International Airport. We have the sun is up, a few clouds out there. There are storms off towards our north near Savannah, but it's pushing off the coast. It's weakening, not affecting us right now. We are at 71 degrees right now in Jacksonville. We have 70s all across Duval County and really all of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia. We'll reach the mid-70s by 8 this morning, 90 degrees at noon. Storms develop between 1 and 3 this afternoon and continue into the evening. We have the potential to see some very heavy rainfall as well as excessive lightning. I'll track your storms for you hour by hour in the First Alert forecast. 7:11, let's get a check on your First Alert traffic with Daisy Ash.
On northbound I-95, we are starting to build up, as you can see, right around J. Turner Butler Boulevard from here into University Boulevard. JTV also is slowing down westbound from Belford Road into Phillips Highway. Starting to see traffic building up eastbound I-10 from Cassett Avenue into Roosevelt. We got a little heavy traffic westbound on the Arlington Expressway from the Southside Connector to Seabrook Cove Road, and also building from the Matthews Bridge into downtown. I'm Daisy Ash from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center.
7-Eleven, angry shouts and cries of murderer met the man police say stabbed 2 children headed out for ice cream in New York.
You murder! You murder! You tried to kill little kids! You murder!
A chilling scene there as 27-year-old Daniel St. Hubert was charged with murder and attempted murder. He's accused of killing a 6-year-old little boy and critically injuring a 7-year-old little girl while the children were on an elevator at a housing complex Saturday, headed out for some ice cream. Police say Hubert was on parole when those stabbings happened. Investigators are now looking into if he's tied to another fatal stabbing late last week.
A memorial is growing on the campus of Seattle Pacific University this morning, less than 24 hours after a gunman opened fire, killing a 19-year-old and injuring 3 other students there. This all happened on Thursday. Police say the damage could have been worse, but a student security guard disarmed the gunman and several other students held him down until police could get there. Police say the 26-year-old gunman, who has not been identified, was not a student. They're trying to figure out a motive.
New this morning, a gunman accused of killing 3 police officers and wounding 2 others in Canada is finally in custody after more than 24 hours on the run. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say they've arrested 24-year-old Justin Bork. This happened around midnight. Authorities say the suspect went on a rampage Wednesday in New Brunswick. Neighborhoods had to all be put on lockdown. Police say they spotted that suspect at least 3 times Thursday but couldn't catch him. A motive has not been released.
Funeral services will be held tomorrow morning at Wake Forest University for poet and author Maya Angelou. She died last week at 86 years old. Before she passed, Angelou was a faculty member at the university for 32 years. Heads of state and other dignitaries are expected to attend, but no names have been confirmed just yet. We do know that one of Angelou's favorite singers was country star Leanne Womack, and she will sing at the funeral.
Radio DJ Casey Kasem's health has taken a turn for the worse this morning. He's in critical condition at a California hospital right now. Kasem suffers from Lewy body disease. That's a form of dementia after Alzheimer's. Hospital officials say the 82-year-old is alert and appears to be comfortable.
Today marks the 70th anniversary of D-Day. Here's a live look at the commemoration event taking place right now. This is at the Normandy American Cemetery in France. President Obama arrived in the last 90 minutes. He'll be speaking, and he already has, at Omaha Beach, but he will continue with the several commemorative events that are going on today. A group of veterans who fought on D-Day laid wreaths at the cemetery on Thursday. On June 6, 1944, Allied troops stormed ashore in Normandy, France, to liberate Europe. Really the turning point in the war. From Nazi occupation during World War II, it is known as the greatest seaborne invasion in history. 12,000 casualties for the Allied forces.
And local veterans also made the trip to Normandy for today's ceremony. We were there Saturday when Herb Griffins had a send-off ceremony there. He's from Fruit Cove, and the veteran says he's doing all of this to honor his friends who never came home from the war.
California Chrome will look to make history tomorrow night. The horse is preparing for the third leg of horse racing's Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes. After winning the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, the Belmont is next. And we told you on Wednesday, California Chrome, so popular, the horse is being watched round the clock by security. California Chrome is the 12th horse to try for the Triple Crown since Affirmed won it all the way back in 1978. You think he's feeling the pressure?
He's a Cinderella tale indeed. Lots of folks already placing their bets ahead of the race. Miami Heat's run for a three-peat in the NBA Finals started off with the team wilting to the San Antonio Spurs, literally. The air conditioning in the AT&T Center in San Antonio stopped working, and temperatures reached up to 90 degrees. LeBron James had to be helped off the court when the Heat got to him. Now, he still led the Heat with 25 points, but it wasn't enough to beat the Spurs at home. San Antonio taking the win 110-95. Game 2 is set for Sunday night. Meanwhile, the U.S. men's soccer team will play a friendly match against Nigeria at Everbank Field tomorrow. The men's soccer team has been in Jacksonville working out and practicing for most of the week here. We have video of their practice session at UNF early Thursday. Lots of folks excited about this game, and it's almost sold out. Saturday's match comes ahead of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, which kicks off next week.
Love me some World Cup. So get a preview on Saturday, 6 o'clock game. Your health and safety, it's why state health inspectors make surprise visits to local restaurant. It's why we do the restaurant report. Each week, our Tara Bars checks the state inspection reports and gives you the facts.
One by one, I go through all of the pages in the state records to make sure the places that you are taking your family out to eat are safe and clean.
This McDonald's is located at 7359 103rd Street in Jacksonville. This week, it topped the high priority list with 7 violations, meaning they could make you sick. Here's what I found in the state report. A repeat violation for temperature abuse for eggs, liquid eggs, cut tomatoes, shredded cheese, Swiss cheese, cream cheese, all in the walk-in cooler. A warning was given. A stop sale was issued on potentially hazardous food for temperature abuse, and an employee was seen touching ready-to-eat food with their bare hands. McDonald's owner and operator Debbie Moreland sent us this statement. Operating a safe and clean restaurant for our customers is my top priority, and I take these isolated issues seriously. We immediately corrected these concerns and are taking additional steps to ensure we operate the cleanest and safest restaurants for our guests to enjoy.
Here are the other restaurants topping the list with high priority violations this week. At First Walk on Normandy Boulevard in Jacksonville, there were 6 high priority violations, including live flies in the kitchen. At North Beach Fish Camp in Neptune Beach, there were 4 high priority violations, including a toxic substance or chemical stored in the food preparation area with the potential to cause cross-contamination. A sanitizer bucket was found on the prep table. In the studio, Tara Bars, Action News.
See all the restaurants written up for critical violations and our Clean Plate Award winners. You can find the full list by going to our website, actionnewsjax.com. You click on the featured content and then restaurant report.
It's 7:18 here on this Friday morning, and here on Action News, that means it's time for yet another Cool School sponsored by Goodwill. Today, the cool kiddos from St. Johns County are celebrating their first day of summer vacation, but not before our Tracy.com paid them a visit. This is Liberty Pines Academy playing Pharrell's hit song Happy, because of course, what else? They are happy that summer is here. I would be too. In the next half hour, we'll also check in with Durbin Creek and Julington Creek Elementary Schools as well.
Now, your first alert forecast, Jacksonville's most accurate.
And what a day for the first day of summer break. We are going to heat up out there. It's a great day for the beach or for the pool just before those thunderstorms develop. Right now we're at 71 degrees in Jacksonville. We have low 70s along the coast and mid 70s through southeastern Georgia. We have seen some heavy rain and thunderstorms just north of our viewing area through the overnight. It's now beginning to push off the coast near Savannah, and we're still looking at dry conditions all the way to the northern portions of our viewing area. Glenn County saw a few sprinkles sprinkles earlier this morning. Otherwise, though, it's dry to start. That area of thunderstorms is falling apart, and it will push off the coast by 8:30 this morning. Otherwise, just a partly cloudy start to the day. We are going to stay dry all the way through your lunch hour, and then thunderstorms start to develop. Isolated storms begin to develop along I-95 between 1 and 3 o'clock. They'll strengthen as they push inland. We are going to see some heavy rain out of this and also some frequent lightning. It will continue into the early evening. Then northeastern Florida gets a little bit of a break after 9:30, and southeast Georgia will see some heavy thunderstorms moving through after midnight. This is going to produce gusty winds, small hail, frequent lightning, and very heavy rain. Probably going to wake some people up overnight tonight and into early Saturday morning. But it will weaken and push off the coast before 6:30 on Saturday. So if you're waking up after 6:30 on Saturday, which I think a lot of you will be, you're not going to see the rain until later on in the afternoon. That's when we'll see another batch of afternoon thunderstorms developing. Here we are at 2:30. You can see those storms developing. They push inland and they will strengthen a little bit. We're going to see isolated heavy downpours on Saturday afternoon. That'll weaken after the sun sets, and we'll start that pattern right back up as we head into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, you get the picture, all the way into next week. We're tracking the tropics. Invest 90L is strengthening just a little bit through the southern Gulf of Mexico. It is expected to push westward into Mexico, bringing very heavy rain and flash flooding, but not going to affect us. We are, though, watching our computer models because they're starting to hint at an area of tropical low pressure moving towards us next week. We will continue to update you as we go through the weekend and into early next week on that. For today, what you can expect, 75 degrees by 8 this morning. We're going to get up to 90 degrees by noon. The clouds will build into the lunch hour, and then storms will develop between 1 and 3 o'clock. We'll see a high today of 94 degrees in Jacksonville. That means we are going to see some mid and upper 90s inland, and heat index values getting closer to the triple digits. So if you have plans to be outside for an extended period of time today, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And when you hear the thunder, that means it's time to go inside. Saturday, we start off in the 70s. We'll get to 90 degrees by noon. Then thunderstorms will cool us off into the upper 70s by 5 o'clock. Sunday, very similar temperatures again in the upper 80s and low 90s with afternoon thunderstorms each day over the weekend and each day next week as well. So low 90s return by tomorrow. It's a little bit of a cool down from our 94 today. We'll be at 91 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday, and we'll see low 90s all the way through Thursday of next week. You can always log on to actionnewsjax.com for more information on this First Alert forecast. It's now 7:22 on your Friday. Let's get a check on your First Alert traffic with Daisy Ash.
We are seeing some heavy traffic already on 295, the West Beltway in the southbound direction from Old St. Augustine Road into I-95. So expect some delays through this area. Add an extra minute or so to your drive through this area. Also, you'll find on I-95 northbound, there is some slow traffic already from J. Turner Butler Boulevard into University Boulevard. And watch out for an accident with some lane blockage around the entrance ramp from Highway 206 onto northbound to I-95. Still slowing down eastbound on I-10 from Cassett Avenue in toward Roosevelt. We've got a little heavy traffic now northbound on the East Beltway from Phillips Highway into 9B. I'm Daisy Ash from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center.
Daisy, thank you. Still to come, local lizard invasion. Florida scientists say the lizard is on the hunt in our area. The dangers it could have for local pets and wildlife.
Great. Another thing I got to worry about. Plus, inches from danger. The investigation underway after these pictures surface of a school bus nearly hitting a train.